Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So in this video I'm going to be showing you a really awesome build for the Rime-Coat Raiment exotic for Warlocks. This is brand new for Revenant, and basically what it does is it will buff your Bleak Watchers, it'll make them shoot further, it'll spawn stasis crystals around them, and it will also put a little ice storm underneath them, like a rift. It's basically just an ice rift, and when you stand inside that rift you'll get a thing called Icicle, which is just a little stasis buddy beside your head, and when you shoot enemies, the Icicle will shoot with you, slowing the enemies and eventually freezing them. So you'll have your Bleak Watcher freezing things, and you'll also have this little Icicle freezing things, which will go hand in hand together to basically make the Icebreaker an incredibly powerful ad clearing machine. It'll give it infinite ammo, and it will also just make it extremely powerful for just destroying groups of enemies really quickly. Obviously not everyone has Icebreaker, I'm well aware of that, so I recommend putting this build aside until you get it, and then, you know, bringing this build out or busting this build out for when you actually are using this gun, because this gun's main purpose is ad clear. That's a fact, and this build will make it just broken. So basically what Icebreaker does is that when you defeat a target, it'll cause a tiny little explosion like Firefly. That's what it did in D1 as well. But if you get a precision final blow, or you destroy a frozen target slash stasis crystal, which it doesn't mention, but that does work, it will cause an ignition, which is obviously really strong for ad clear. And you'll see why soon. You'll see how we're really going to make this thing tick. Obviously, Icebreaker will regain ammo when you get kills and assists with other weapons or abilities, and when you defeat bigger tier enemies, so basically mages and up, it'll almost guarantee ammo and it'll give you more. But if you get the Catalyst, just landing a hit on a slowed or frozen target will have a chance to return ammo to the magazine. Now, because we're using Bleak Watcher and we're slowing and freezing enemies permanently, it basically means that Icebreaker is self-sustaining. Because there's so many frozen enemies, so many slowed targets, every time you land a hit, that's a chance for ammo. Now the great thing is that because Bleak Watcher is actually your ability, if you destroy a frozen enemy from Bleak Watcher, or you destroy a crystal that came out of the storm and kill a group of enemies, it will actually count as ability kills as well as a hit from Icebreaker. So you could slow and freeze an enemy with Bleak Watcher, hit them with Icebreaker, that will give you ammo, and then it will shatter them, destroy a group of enemies around them, and then that will count as ability kills, which also gives you ammo. So yeah, basically Icebreaker has infinite ammo with this method. Now to make this build a whole lot better, we are going to be using a few things for our subclass. Just running through the subclass in general. We've got Bleak Watcher, obviously. We've got Devour, because that makes us unkillable, and it also regens grenade energy. Because this is an enhanced Devour, we get even more grenade energy, so in about 4 kills, you'll have a grenade, which is really strong, because you can spam Bleak Watchers. And when I say you can spam them, you really can. You can throw like 3 or 4 out before the first one even runs out, because I'm pretty sure Bleak Watchers last longer with this. It doesn't say they do, but they really do feel like they do. So, you know, obviously that's really strong. I'm using Healing Grenade because it's the fastest cooldown for Bleak Watcher. Otherwise you can use whatever you like. If you want to use Cold Snaps as well, you know, throw a Bleak Watcher out, get another grenade back, and then just throw a regular Cold Snap to get some easy ammo for Icebreaker, you can. Same goes for the melee, you can use Penumbral Blast if you want to get a free freeze. Otherwise I do recommend using Arcane Needle, because you do need ability kills to get Feed the Void, and having 3 melee charges is a pretty nice way of doing that. Also, unraveling enemies is pretty nice as well, so, you know, there's that. You can use Healing Rift if you want, you can use Empowering Rift if you want inside the storm. I personally like Phoenix Dive because it's the fastest cooldown, and it's just an instant cure, and you can also use it to get to places, you know, like, let's say I'm in the air, got to get to the floor quick, boom, you know, you can just do that, or you can go in a different direction really quickly, get it into cover, whatever, I don't know. You can be in the air and just instantly drop back down into your storm if you want to. As for the super, completely up to you. I'm using Song of Flame because it'll give Icebreaker Scorch. Honestly, all of the supers are pretty weak without Star Eaters on Warlock, but if you want to use Nova Bomb just as a one and done, or Needle Storm or something, you can. They're all still really good, it's just, you know, given we're using this chess piece, you can't make them as strong as they could be. But because you are constantly freezing and shattering with Bleak Watchers, using something like Song of Flame is pretty nice, because you can, you know, keep scorching and igniting them, and then the Bleak Watcher will freeze and shatter them at the same time, which does a lot of damage. We do have a fragment in here that's going to buff that as well. So, I don't know. This is nice. You'll also get Radiant, which is really good if you want to just pop the super and then use, you know, destroy a boss with your heavy just for the Radiant. But I don't know, it's up to you. Now for the fragments, I have Facet of Protection for DR when I'm surrounded. Honestly, with Bleak Watcher, you're probably going to be surrounded a lot, so that's really nice. Then I have Facet of Courage, which is going to buff my Arc, Solar, and Void abilities. In this case, we only have Solar with the super. But that's just 10% free damage when you use a Darkness debuff, which we're going to be doing because we have Unravel, and we also have Slow/Freeze. So it basically just buffs Song of Flame by 10% for free. I then have Facet of Hope, which is while you have an elemental buff, your class ability regens more faster, or more quickly. Because I have Devour up permanently, this will just regen really quick. Then we have Facet of Ruin, which is going to increase the size and damage of the burst when we shatter a stasis crystal or a frozen target. Again, that's happening all the time, so it's just free damage. Again, this is why this is nice for boss DPS, because you can throw down a Bleak Watcher and then just, you know, dump your super or your heavy, and they'll just constantly be frozen and shattered, which just does more damage. It'll also increase the area of effect of Solar Ignitions, which is going to buff Icebreaker's Ignitions and Song of Flame's Ignitions in this case, which is just really good. Now for my final fragment, this one's completely up to you. I have Facet of Purpose in here in case I switch supers, so if I want Woven Mail and I'm on Needle Storm, there we go. Same with Void Overshield or Nova Bomb, and Restoration is still nice. Maybe I don't have Devour up right now, you know, need a quick heal. I don't have my Phoenix Dive somehow because I didn't have Devour to regen it. We've got this to get Resto. Now for the mods, honestly, it's completely up to you again. Honestly, most of this build is personal preference because build crafting doesn't really exist in Destiny anymore. So, you know, I just have siphons for orbs to fuel my surge, you know, reserves to get more ammo for my heavy, some resistances, things to get ability energy back, orbs, heavy, extended armor charges, you know, a little bit of recov for my Phoenix Dive. It doesn't matter, just use whatever you like. Quickly touching on the loadouts though, because Icebreaker is self-sustaining and has infinite ammo, you can run another special here if you want. I still recommend having a headstone weapon just because it's more stasis crystals. However, there is a new Iron Banner rocket sidearm coming that's stasis and has chill clip. You know how good rocket sidearms are, and because Icebreaker is infinite ammo and will add clear just as well as any primary would, you can run that and just chill clip things to also give ammo for Icebreaker, because you can slow things and then shoot them with Icebreaker and just get the ammo back. So that's a really nice option. Otherwise, use whatever you like, it doesn't matter. If you want to use Lost Signal for a bit of, you know, AoE or just to help with boss damage, go for it. As for your heavy, I'm using Scintillation because it's really, really good boss damage. Obviously you can use whatever you like. Grenade launchers are good, especially the new ones. The dungeon one's really good. It doesn't matter. If you want to use a machine gun, it doesn't matter. Use whatever you like. Icebreaker's doing all the heavy lifting anyway, so just use something that's going to complement other things like boss damage and utility. And that's basically it for the build. Obviously I had a little bit of gameplay at the start, I'll have a little bit of gameplay at the end just to show you how this build really shines. Let me know what you think, let me know what can be improved or what you would do to improve it, and hopefully you enjoyed this. See you in the next one. Adios. Okay, so since I forgot to actually mention what artifact mods I'm using, here's a quick rundown of them. Honestly, anything goes with this. Most of the stuff isn't even being used, like Rapid Impacts, Concussive Reload. I'm not even using a GL in the build, so honestly, anything anything works, just copy whatever. I do recommend using Brain Freeze though, and I do recommend using Hail the Storm, because when you shatter stasis crystals, it will shoot out like little Bleak Watcher shots, one in each direction, and if they hit things, they slow them, which is good for Icebreaker. And Brain Freeze is really good because when you freeze targets, they'll basically have a dust field grenade attached to them, and when they get close to enemies, or enemies walk into that dust field, it'll slow them, which is, again, good for Icebreaker. Otherwise, use whatever you like. I have Wind Chill here because I'm using a stasis weapon in my kinetic slot, so I can get Frost Armor, and then if I somehow hit red, which is never going to happen in this build, it'll emit a Freezing Burst, which is, again, good because more freeze equals more Icebreaker ammo. This isn't doing anything, but none of the other things do anything, and nothing else in here is actually going to work. I guess I could get Killing Breeze. I'm going to take this out and just put Killing Breeze, I don't know. It doesn't really matter. If I'm using Nova Bomb, this works. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that in there real quick. Again, thanks for watching. Enjoy the gameplay. Adios.